Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the And Academy Interior Design webinar. I am Shubhangi and I'm part of the And Academy Branding and Communications team, and I'll be your host for tonight. So before we dive right into this presentation today, I would like to begin by telling you all a little bit more about what is And Academy, what is it that we do, how do we do it, and why do we do it. So And Academy is a one-of-a-kind design upskilling platform that was launched by the Indian Institute of Art and Design, New Delhi, which is a brick and mortar institution in Okhla, New Delhi. And and actually comes from that pedigree of design education and imparting design education for over a decade now. We offer professional design courses for graduates and working professionals in the domains of graphic design, UX/UI design, and interior design, which is what we will be discussing today. All of our courses are delivered through a live interactive mode, which actually steer away from traditional models of learning and we optimize your learning so that you can learn and work together. So they are accessible courses, convenient courses designed in a way that you can also be at work and later come back from work and join our courses. We're also designing our courses in a way that we cater to people from different backgrounds. So you may or may not come from an education in design, but our courses also cater to you. You can begin with the very fundamentals of design, and then you can build your expertise in your chosen discipline. uh, Today we'll be speaking about interior design, obviously. We combine expert mentorship, practical training, and industry exposure to guide you towards a better future in the industry. On top of that, our course is also stackable. So you can begin from a certificate course, which is, in the case of interior design, an 18-week course, and then choose to pursue a diploma and go on further and build your expertise and graduate with a diploma. Our fee structure also works in a similar fashion, as and when that you choose to continue with the upskilling of your you pay your course fee. So yeah, and today this webinar is led by our course manager for interior design, that is Tavleen. Before I hand it over to Tavleen, I would like to introduce her. Tavleen is a certified interior architect, educator, and a design scholar with substantial industry experience. She's worked on various interior architecture projects with various organizations like Studio AVT Architects, Gyanpi Mathur and Associates, Dhun Life, and Studio Sara. A graduate of Maharishi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Tavleen also holds a master's degree in interior architecture from Kingston School of Architecture, Gurgaon. There is a flow to this webinar. We'll talk about interior design, and Tavleen will take you through the presentation, and we'll take the questions at the end of the presentation. So I request you to keep putting in your question throughout the presentation in the Q&A box, not in the chat box. I see that a few people have put a hi or a salutation in the chat box, which is great. But I request you to all put your Q&A, use your Q&A box and put your questions there so that we can answer them systematically at the end of the presentation. With that, I hand it over to Tavleen. Over to you.
Thank you, Shubhangi. And let's get into knowing about interior design. So, what is interior design? Interior design is basically, I'm sure you would have known and you would have heard about, people telling you that, okay, you are somebody who can transform spaces, right? And through your own ideas, through your own imagination, you can design spaces and you can transform them. So it also deals with the, you are designing spaces for users who are your clients, who are your, humans. So interior designing is something that deals with the symbiotic relationship between human and environment. So you design spaces for humans, right? And we say that, each and every line that we draw in a plan or in a space, it has a meaning. So that means it tackles the usability of each and every square foot of your space. And it is designed in terms of, matching the needs and requirements of your clients or the users of the space. Of course, at the end, we also add some, aesthetically pleasing elements and make it, make the space functionally pleasing also. So interior designers are, they visualize, they plan, and they use spaces, they design spaces through ideation, experimentation, and application. So I'm sure this confusion is there in many minds and in many people who are pursuing or are aspirants of becoming an interior designer. So it is very important before you get to know that what interior designing is, that there's a difference between interior design, interior styling, and interior decoration. So what is that difference? So basically, interior design is something that deals with the functionality and the overall the art and science of the space. So it is not just limited to just moving your furniture here and there and just adding some aesthetics to it. Of course, that is also a part of it, but that is not it. You are supposed to functionally design a space. You have to think through what each and every element has an impact and how the user of that space is using it, right? So a lot of research goes behind that, and that's how you're able to create, transform spaces, right? So we say that interior design is the art and science of understanding people's behavior to create functional spaces within a space, building, or whichever, plot you're working on. Then what is interior styling? It, of course, helps us enhance the aesthetics of the space. And it might say that, okay, we can, somewhat alter the structure or the furniture here and there, right? And it is also a part of interior design. And what is interior decoration? Interior decoration is basically, again, enhancing the space and adding those, beautiful elements to your space. So here is what is important to know, that an interior designer can be an interior stylist as well as an interior decorator. But an interior stylist cannot be an interior designer. And same as for interior decorator, an interior decorator cannot be an interior designer. Yeah. Okay, with that, let's move ahead and understand like what all interior stylist can do. Okay, it's all about making the room look great, and styling often forms the part of the initial steps wherein we select, okay, what kind of materials can be put in and what will look good with what. But to understand how this space is being used by the user of that space, to understand the behavior of the people which are using that space, and also of the space, how is it reacting back to the users of the space. It is very important to understand that, and in interior design we learn that also. Yeah. So of course, architecture also teaches you a part of interior design, and architects are trained in the art and science of designing buildings, right? So now here, as an interior designer, you are an interior stylist, you are an interior decorator, and you can also add those aesthetic elements to your space. Okay. Another very important question that people always, ask that, okay, what kind of softwares will you be teaching us? And do you cover 3ds Max? Do you cover SketchUp? Do you cover this software, that software? So here at AND, what we focus is, and generally also, I think this is the most important element, that design is always greater than the software, right? So an interior designer wears many hats, right? As I was mentioning in the previous slide also, that an interior designer is a researcher. He and she is also a thinker. Logical, creative thinking and imagination plays a major role in, to be able to imagine spaces and then to be able to transform them. Then, of course, according to that imagination, according to that, ideas that we have, we plan things out in a space and then we create them, we make them. And something that always stays in an interior designer's journey is learning. You're always learning, and because the trends are changing, the market is also, each and every day there's some new product that is coming, there's some new material that is coming. So you have to keep in, yourself to up to date to the market. You have to keep learning and keep, transforming yourself also. Have to upgrade yourself. So these are all the hats that an interior designer wears. Moving ahead. Okay, so having just know that, and having said that, we should also know that what a designer must know. So of course, a designer should always, to be able to create, visualize things, you should be able to visualize your design in terms of color, in terms of composition, and in terms of the grid that you understand, right? And the most important thing is, like one of the important things is that, who are you designing for? You should be able to understand the user of the space and to be able to understand and then satisfy also their needs and requirements, right? And how this is done is through the design process. So once you visualize an idea, you understand that, okay, these are the needs and requirements of my client. Then you actually follow that design process, and you start developing ideas, and then according to those ideas and understanding that what are the needs and what are the requirements, you move on to the solutions, the design solutions, right? So once you have made this, you have crossed this journey, then of course, how do you actually create visual representations of that? Then tech is something that is important. So this is where a software plays a major role. That's how you're able to create your visual representations. And then you have done all of this, but you don't know how to communicate, right? You don't know how to talk to your client. So an interior designer or a designer must know effective communication, right? So moving ahead, what can a future interior designer, what kind of projects can an interior designer can work on, right? So let's see. Of course, home interiors is something that people like to renovate their homes, and they really want to go by the trend. So to know those trends, and according to that, you can just go and renovate the home interiors once you become an interior designer. Cafes and restaurants, theme cafes are a lot of, in concept today. So those cafes you can design, and those theme cafes, you can propose your ideas and you can get them executed on the sites, right? In these hospitality sectors, we have these, waiting lobbies, and there are many interesting entrance lobbies, waiting lobbies, and these, circulation spaces, which require a lot of attention from people. So that's how, you get an opportunity to design these also. Yeah. Moving ahead, of course, after COVID, I think this concept of co-working spaces has come up. And before that, also we had offices always, right? So we have this opportunity of designing, transforming the office interiors and create some interesting office spaces so that it becomes lively. Moving ahead, we also have this opportunity of designing these retail spaces, some permanent, some temporary structures in the retail sector itself. Then, I'm sure you would have seen these pop-up stores in the malls. So these keep themselves as temporary and permanent. Some of them are temporary, some of them are permanent. So all the interior designers have an opportunity of getting associated with a brand and then designing something for them. Similarly, these store windows displays that are visible from the street view, this is an opportunity for all the interior designers to every brand wants to grab maximum attention. So this is how they take help from interior designers, and these are the spaces that can be designed. And apart from that, we also have some e-commerce sites where you can work as a collaborator. Also some temporary exhibition areas where we can propose, and I'm sure you would have seen, you would have visited also, some of you would have visited these exhibitions where different brands come and they want to display, and again their display has to be the best. So there's an opportunity for you to be able to make their brand pop up in a manner that everybody grabs that attention and they come to their store. Yeah. Then some design aided sales for selling accessories and interior products, and all these people, they really want their products to be lined up in a manner that it is neat, it is organized, and it is well set, so that everybody, again, they can attend maximum of their customers and they are able to sell their products. Okay, so till now we had seen that what an interior designer can do. Now, at the same time, it is very important to see what an interior designer cannot do. So anything related to structure, anything related to the columns, the structure of the buildings, you have to, if you want to change a wall, if you want to dismantle a structure, if you want to, just move a door from here to there, you really have to check if that structure allows or not, right? And how do you get to know that? You have to get in touch with either architects or civil engineers or structural engineers for that matter, and check that what is the structure of the building, and does it allow any changes, or is it like a temporary, like it's not a load bearing wall that you're trying to change. So for all those decisions, you really have to check with these civil engineers or architects or structure engineers, however the condition is, right? And also, before bringing in any plumbing related changes or electrical related changes, you really have to check with the electrician and plumber in that sense, because that is also something important, and they can help you build your decisions in that manner that you're able to create those changes within that space that you're designing, right? So moving ahead, so what skills and knowledge set does an interior designer need, right? So let's see, what are the skills? So once you are in this journey, you will understand the importance of spatial planning, how each and every square foot of a space can be utilized. And when you are talking about the space, it is very important to know that what is the need of the user, who is using that space, right? And we generally divide these needs into two categories, the functional needs and the emotional needs, right? And we really talk in depth about, both these needs and help our students to bifurcate amongst them and to be able to provide solutions to their clients so that they actually, fulfill both their needs categories, right? And it is very important to understand the space as well as your client, right? So understanding a client brief is something that holds it is like the foundation of the entire process, right? So once you know that, then you can actually smoothly build the above floors, right? So once you have understood that, okay, how does your space looks like, what is your user requirements, and you're able to understand, bifurcate between the needs of the users, and you're able to create a proper client brief for yourselves, and you're able to understand the client brief, then you move ahead and actually try, spacing it out, layouting the plans, and dimensioning the spaces, right? Once you have layouted, dimensioned the spaces, once you have created certain options for your client, then you actually start looking at, okay, what kind of material will look better in this space, or what kind of furniture can I put in? And of course, that also goes without saying that whatever is the requirement of the client, you go by that, right? And you can also propose in your ideas, but that is something that, again, follow through the process of understanding your client and the space. Then once you have done all of this, we actually go ahead and start preparing the technical drawings, right? So technical drawings or good for construction drawings are basically known as like they are called good for construction so that they can be constructed on site, right? So of course that holds a very important part. Since you have gone through the entire process, then you actually give the labor on the site those good for construction drawings and then get them executed. Once you've done that also, then you comes the role of preparing the BOQs or the bill of quantities and preparing the costing. What will the costing of the entire project, right? So that is also very important. And to be able to execute all of this, you have to collaborate with a lot of vendors. You have to coordinate with a lot of vendors. And to find the best price for your client, you have to, have a good market study and to have many options for them to be able to provide them options and to be able to select amongst those options. So that can happen when you can, collaborate and coordinate with a lot of vendors, right? Moving ahead, I think this will really help you understand that what do we do here at AND and how do we actually move on through this process So let me take you to some student showcase, some student work showcase. Yeah, so this is a software known as Miro, wherein this is like the worksheet of students, and this is also accessible by the faculty. So, all the rough work and all the work that has to be discussed with the faculty, all the process, the design process is here where, we are supposed to work. And this is where we can collaboratively, give them feedback also and see the process of the student, and student can keep updating their work. So this is a platform where we work. And let's begin with understanding the fundamentals. This is the first module wherein we start from the very scratch, right? So we start from understanding the fundamentals of design, right? So we start from a very fun activity, which is known as the line and dot example, the line and dot activity, wherein we try to create certain compositions which are in 2D, and then we try generating them into a 3D composition. Then we understand what are the elements of design, what are the principles of design, and again we do certain interesting activities around that. We also do mapping, right? We try to actually measure our space, make our space, create our space on the same able to draw these spaces, and then we are trying to understand that what is the pathway that we are taking, right? We are bifurcating different spaces into different zones, and we are understanding how are we using this space and what is the activity that is happening in different hours of the day, right? Then we also understand what is ergonomics, what is anthropometry, basically the human scale and proportion, and how do we actually understand this, symbiotic relationship between the humans and space. Then we also understand how the color and light and texture has an impact on the space with an interesting activity. Then we understand a software. We learn a software which is known as Kuhum in the first module, right? So as you can see here, our student has tried to just convert her actual room into this software, right? Then we move ahead into the second module, which is known as the residential project, wherein we actually, start with a demo client, wherein we give you all the information about our demo client. And similarly, you're supposed to parallelly work on your own client, right? So this is like a step-by-step mentoring is done, and you're actually working on your own project. You're working with your own client, and that's how you're able to, move ahead and apply all these fundamentals of design that we have learned in the previous module. So we understand and we what are the requirements, then we, bifurcate them into the functional and emotional needs. We create certain visual boards, mood boards out of the same. Then we create a similar thing which we have done for the demo class on the class, like together as a, cohort. And then we do it personally, individually with our own clients. The entire process is repeated with our own client. So these are certain pictures of our student site, and then they have tried to lay out, create the layout of the entire plan. The entire layout was made, and then certain trigger questions. What can the student can ask the client in the next meeting. So we also encourage our students to keep meeting your clients throughout the project that they are doing, so that they get approvals from them, and they keep asking the questions throughout the process. So we make the list of questions that what has to be asked before and what has to be asked in the second phase when you meet again. And that's how the entire journey moves ahead for your own project also, right? We do some layouting option. We also understand, Vastu as a concept. Then we start generating certain light options, material options, right? And then some of you would like to exit with a certificate. So if you want to, just come apply for the certificate course for the interior design, then you have these two modules to cover, and you can go on the field and start your own practice on residential aspects. Like you can take up your own residential projects, or you can work with somebody who's working on a residential firm. But some of you might want to move ahead with us and study ahead with us, right? So we move on to the third module. In the third module, the basic three things are covered, right? So first thing is about the construction. We also teach you in depth that how are, your floors constructed, how are your walls constructed, and how are the ceilings constructed, right? And we also teach you another software which is known as AutoCAD in this module. And along with this, software and construction lectures, you also have this, research part, which is a part of the fourth module itself. We give you a brand to research upon, and then finally, it gets executed into a commercial project towards the fourth module. So here, if you can see as an example, our student has, her brand was Himalayas, and she was trying to create it into a cafe, right? So we had given her a site, and she was able to do some context mapping around that, which we did as a cohort together. And then we were understanding the proximity, what is around it, and how should we, build. And if you want to build something, you really need to understand what is it in the surroundings, right? So where there were some, nearby pictures, what is it that looks around the site. So yeah, this was something that was mapped. Then we understood so this was a part of the third module where, she was understanding what does this brand mean, and what is its vision, what is its mission, and what is it that she can bring in for her project. And what if this brand wants to expand in future and it wants to open its own cafe? So what is it that it would like to, take forward as a brand? And this is what we study throughout the project, right? So then again, these are certain interesting things that we do to understand what is the position, what are your target audience. Again, this is in depth, which you will understand in those of us who, want to join the diploma course. This is what we teach you. And then throughout this journey, we again create certain mood boards. Again, we create certain layouts, and we keep taking out the SWOT analysis. We keep doing the SWOT analysis in order to come to a layout which is, best for our clients, right? Then, of course, we generate certain 3D images. These are all done on Zoom, some renders. And we also, prepare, these are some CAD drawings that we do. And we also prepared certain call-out sheets, which is to find out which material are we going to use, what is its specification, how much quantity is required, how does it exactly look, and what is it going to cost the client, right? So these are certain BOQ sheets and call-out sheets that we prepare. And then towards the end, we just help you understand. And that's how, once you have completed your entire commercial project, you can exit with your diploma. So this is the rough work, the back-end work. But how do we compile it? We compile it into a presentation. So this is a glimpse of how one of our students has compiled his bedroom, the residential project, the certificate program project. So yeah, once he has done, I'm just going to run through this quickly. So they have just compiled it together. And this was how this was how the assessment was done on this basis, the final presentation. Yeah. So that's about the students' work. One second. Yeah. So now, our courses in interior designer, as I explained, in the certificate program, which is an 18-week long program, we cover two modules, right? So the first module is fundamentals of interior design, and the second module is residential project. So once you complete this, you have an opportunity of exiting, or as Shubhangi was also mentioning in the beginning, that our courses are stackable in nature. So you can exit, take a pause, and then you can, if in future you want to come in again and learn with us, you can come in and, join our diploma course and take your learning further, right? So diploma courses, of course, it includes the certificate program. Once you have completed the certificate program, then you can take your journey forward and include 16 weeks more. So these 16 weeks will include the construction lectures, the CAD workshop, and the basic of, the fourth module. And then in the fourth module, we cover that commercial project as a, the entire thing. So what is the difference between the residential project and the commercial project? So in the residential project, we are basically dealing with a limited amount of limited customers, limited clients, limited stakeholders. So it's like a family that we are dealing with, or maximum 6 to 8 people, or if it is a big family, then we are taking around like a family. We are dealing with a family, but our stakeholders increase in the commercial project, right? So we are dealing with a large number of, stakeholders, and we are dealing with a large number of people. So we are designing for a lot of the number increases in the commercial project. So yeah, as I mentioned this, that this is a stackable module, and once you complete the certificate course, you can any day come back and do our diploma course also, right? So our diploma course also, gives some placement support, which we'll be covering afterwards, right? And this is a 100% online course, and we offer you classes in the evening, twice a week, which means 6 hours in a week. And the timings for the classes are 7:30 to 10:30 in the evening, and the classes are generally on Mondays and Thursdays, right? So our classes are, as again Shubhangi mentioned in the beginning also, that these are live sessions. Now, what do you mean by live sessions? So there'll be an instructor which is going to be here live, not like a recording playing, but a live instructor will be there. And our courses are not like a monologue. So this might sound like a monologue, that I am speaking and you're just listening, but that's not how our classes are. Our classes are very interactive in nature, and we have always like how our 3 hours look like, that we start with introducing a concept, or maybe we'll start with reviewing your work if you have asked you to do something before the class, right? So we introduce you to a concept, or we review some of your work, and then we give you an activity around that concept, right? So you're supposed to do that activity within those 3 hours. And then towards the end, we review that as a cohort and give you feedback. So you're getting feedback from your faculty also, and you're getting feedback from your peers also, right? So that's how we think that, online teaching can be made, productive, and it can really help you grow and enhance your skills within the field that you have chosen to grow your skills in, right? Yes, moving ahead, of course, as I mentioned earlier also, that we teach beyond software. So we start from the very basics, we start from the fundamentals, and we are actually we learn by doing, right? And these live sessions help you actually grasp more. The more interactive, the more active you are during the class, the more you will gain, right? And of course, as I mentioned earlier also, and as Shubhangi has also mentioned, that these courses are stackable in nature, and we also give you some career development and placement support. Excuse me. Yeah. So now I leave you on this page, and if you have any questions, now is the time that you can ask in the Q&A box. You can drop all your questions. And just apart from the interior design courses, we also teach you graphic design and UX UI design. Yeah. So now that's it from my side. Over to you, Shubhangi.
Thank you, Tavleen, for this wonderful presentation. So I am going to request everyone to put in their questions now. We'll wait 2 minutes. Let's see if you have any questions. I request you to put in the Q&A box. Charu, I think we have now started getting questions. So Charu is asking, do you also provide copies of software? I don't think we provide any software, Charu. We will provide you a software track, a training for software, but no software will be provided, original or copies from us otherwise. Okay. Okay. Yuvraj is asking, I'm studying in 12th standard, and what are the basic electronic needs of the course? So, Yuvraj, we'll say that we recommend that you come with a graduation. You can pursue a certificate, but still, I think you'll have to get in touch with our course advisor to check if you can enroll in one of our courses. And once you finish the counseling, the admission process, our IT team will tell you, or our course advisors will tell you what is the electronic requirement, what type of softwares, and what type of system you require for um, to be working on all the softwares and to be studying on the courses. How many kinds of software do we get to learn? Tavleen, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so if you have enrolled yourself into the certificate course, then we are teaching you Kuhum, that is one. And if if you're enrolled for the diploma course, then we teach you AutoCAD. So if you are a diploma student, then you learn two softwares, Kuhum and AutoCAD.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Murli is asking, after completing course, do you support for any freelance or designing? So we do not, we actually make you industry ready in a way that you can pick up your own projects, but we do not put you in touch with clients who will get you freelance work, but we'll help you build that portfolio, that resume. Will help you develop those professional skills, soft skills as well as hard skills, writing emails, how to communicate with a client, how to, as Tavleen mentioned, to make BOQs and all of that. You will get to learn all of that, but will not provide you support to put you in touch with specific clients for freelance projects. However, we'll put you in touch with organizations that are offering jobs, not freelance, but like full-time jobs. Those you'll definitely be in touch with. Mm, would Charu has a question. Would the resultant certificate be recognized or technically all over India? Um, Tavleen, do you want to take that?
Again, I think as Shubhangi already mentioned, that we make you industry relevant, right? Even if, of course, this certificate will help you, initially, but as an interior design, field itself, in the interior design field or in design fields, it is more about how you build your portfolio, right? Your work says. So we make you ready for that. And that's why we always give importance to design more than any other software, right? Because we make you go through that entire process, which will help you develop those skills.
Yeah. So to answer your question in plain black and white terms, our courses are not technically recognized by an organization, but they are much, much, much valued in the industry. And if you go on to see on our page, you'll see our placements and you'll see how credible our courses and how credible our claim for placement and design education is. So yeah. I see Omkar has put in a question in the chat box. Please don't do that. Please put in your questions in the Q&A box. Omkar is asking, is job support only for diploma course? The certificate course has a very short duration. So I think you do get some sessions, but the diploma placement support is definitely more elaborate, is what I would say. Tavleen, am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. I think what will happen is once like in your certificate course, you'll be able to just focus on the residential project. So that will help you maybe go and on the field. But as a support from us, I think we'll be able to support you once you have both like the process of commercial project as well as residential project.
Yep. Yes, Yuvraj, you can get in touch with the course counselor. You are seeing these numbers on your screen, just call them and then you will be in touch with one of our course counselors, or write to us at apply@andacademy.com, or you can call one of these numbers. Yeah, so that should help you. Okay, let's wait 2 more minutes if we have any more questions. while we are waiting for questions, I would like to tell you that we are also hosting another masterclass tomorrow, which is about design career and the inner critic. So it is not limited to the domains of interior design or graphic design or UX UI design. So you'll get to interface with an industry expert who'll share her experiences about being in the design industry and what has her learnings been with the experience she has collected over the years. So if you're wanting to join into a discussion with an industry expert, that is the forum to be at. So you'll find the link on our social media handle on Instagram, which is and_academy. So please join us if you're wanting to join something of that sort. Okay. Murli is asking, after completing certificate course, if you want to join in the diploma, what will be the fee? So as you can see on the screen right now, Murli, the fee for the certificate course is 60,000 plus GST. If you go on to pay, if you go on to pursue your diploma, then it'll be more like 60,000 plus 60,000. So it'll come back to a total of 1.2 lakh. So you pay 60,000 for certificate, then you pay incrementally one more 60,000 for the diploma. Yeah. Charu is saying our class is taken only by the list of mentors as mentioned on your website. So mostly that would be a yes, Charu. But we also have different people coming in who are not listed on our website. For example, we have sessions from um, a Shiva or a Arundhati, Dr. Arundhati, who's currently teaching our art and sessions. Nishita, who's also who's taking our masterclass tomorrow. Samvada, who was an architect who came for another masterclass. So it's a mix. People do come in for masterclasses also, but largely this would be the list of faculty that you would be interfacing with that you see on the website. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, we do. Somebody is asking what happens if we miss a class. Tavleen, what happens?
You miss a lot. If you miss a class, you miss a lot. But yeah, we also have, we all, record all our sessions. And if by chance you miss a class, you can always go back and see the recordings. And if in case you have attended the class also and you really wanted to go back and, just revise a concept, you can do that. But we highly recommend not to miss any class because you miss on to the interaction. Like, whatever you can do within the class, within the live session, you won't be able to do that. But yeah, if there's some emergency that has come up, I hope that doesn't happen. But if that comes up, then of course all our classes are recorded.
Yep. Murli is asking, during live sessions of courses, do the mentor change or single person will guide us? Tavleen, how do you want to take that?
Yeah. So we have like, if we have a large cohort, like every 20 25 people will get one mentor. So if we have a large cohort, we have two mentors joining in together. And if we have we always divide it in terms of the number of students. So if we like every student's feed every student is giving given feedback either verbally within the class or a written feedback afterwards, so we do not miss out on any questions or any queries about our students. So I'm sure this was what was bugging you. I'm sure, but that's why you asked this question.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we have reached the end of questions for tonight. Last call, guys. If we have any more questions, I request you to put it in the Q&A box right now. Okay, we do have.
There we go.
Somebody is asking, how are we tested for a certificate or diploma? Okay, so the process is that you apply with us, you get in touch with our course counselors. They will guide you which course you should go for. Then you come face to face with our faculty. You will get in an interview one-on-one session with them, through which they will put you in certain buckets. Maybe you go for a certificate, maybe you go for a diploma. According to their recommendation, you can go ahead and choose your course. So yeah, that is our application process. There is no test, but we do recommend if you have any work of yours, you do share it with us. Okay. Uh, oh, there is, do we have tests at the end of a semester, Tavleen?
Yes, so every end of the module, you will have to give a review wherein we invite some, people from outside who will be taking your review. And that's how you get feedback from external people also who are not your faculty, right? So yes, every end of the module, you have a review. And in every second module, like for example, in second module for the residential project and commercial project, these both modules also have a mid-review. So yeah, that's how we have planned your assessments and tests, if you call it them. You call
Yeah.
it like that, yeah.
Charu is asking any scholarships. Yes, Charu, we were offering a scholarship till 15th of Feb. I'm not sure about it right now. You can get in touch with our course counselor. They'll be able to guide you in much more great depth for scholarships. So Murli, we have already answered your question. Do we do assignments in the middle of the test to test you? Yes. Assignments are a constant thing, so they will always keep on rolling in your plate. So yeah. Hmm. Do we have any more questions? No. Okay, I guess we've reached the end of this webinar. Thank you for your presentation, Tavleen. Thank you. Okay, we do have one more question. Tashi is asking, do we have to pay in installments or all at one time? So you have both options, Tashi. You can actually take a loan from one of our finance partners or go for an EMI option as well. Again, get in touch with your course counselor. They'll be able to guide you in much more greater depth, or check out our website, which also has a very detailed fee structure. So you'll be able to figure out your payment plan according to that. Omkar is asking, is there any module on cost estimation and quotations?
So the last module that we talked about, the commercial project, we do talk about how do we, help you understand what are bill of quantities and how do you prepare it, how do you actually understand the vendor management. So we do have certain lectures around them, but we do not have an entire module for the same.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you had a wonderful time, because I did. Thank you, Tableen, for your presentation. Thank you, everyone who's been here till 8:30 now. Thank you for taking time out to join us in this webinar. We're hoping we'll see you in class soon. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shubhangi. Good night.
Good night.